Welcome everybody to the largest student university webinar in the world, a 37 days of live event, Student University Webinar Season 4 Get Connected. And today is day 33 of the event. So just 4 days more to go. Today is last day when I'll be talking about the visa process. Um, and remaining basically entire study abroad counseling probably, would be explained by today's session. So I have other videos which are, in case you have missed out, you can check it on YouTube, which is EACC-Education Abroad Counseling Center. And you can find these videos where I have explained study abroad counseling. So it's first time that you can actually find anything basically where everything is explained. Everything is explained from how you can start and how. But still, you need a coach because study abroad is expensive. It would be like penny wise, pound foolish. Okay, by saving some money, you are actually basically losing out on a lot of money. Okay, why? Because there are so many things that you need to take care of. So many things that you have to take. It's a complex process. It's not easy. With my 21 years, I'm still learning, and there's a lot to learn. So even when I say we do counseling for all countries, all levels, the system change, the procedure change, the policy change, and we need to keep ourselves updated. The visa rules change. And most important, what I'm talking right now is on visa, because irrespective of whether you get admission, getting visa may not be easy because the visa officer may mostly reject you as a potential immigrant or insufficiency of funds. So you need to clear to the visa officer that you are a genuine student and you have a sufficient funds to study abroad. So all this process I've tried to explain. This is specifically because there are a lot of students who are not aware and they basically, without any knowledge, approach and then they get visa refusal. They come to me or they come to anybody else. It's a waste of their precious year, and then probably, sometimes they don't get the visa and they have to give up on study abroad. So that's the reason why I decided that I would mention everything online so that at least people take the benefit. If they don't want to register anything, they can at least take this information. And with whatever this, if it helps you to get your visa, if it helps you to get your admission, if it helps you to get scholarship, I think I will feel blessed myself. Having said that, let's take further. Let's go and talk about Education Abroad Counseling Center. It started in Feb 2000. The vision is to educate the youth by providing them with study abroad career options worldwide. Our mission is to have help 10 lakh high schools and graduate students achieve career growth using pre-application technology. So we have been trying to reach out by various ways, like to my educational guide, through the online, to basically providing study abroad counseling in educational institutes. We have till date counseled more than 13,500 students. Our USP is that we are one of those few study abroad counseling centers in the world who could provide counseling for all countries, all levels, starting from 7th grade to doctorate and all major programs. We provide guaranteed admission or we refund the total counseling fee. This is because of the pre-application process that we follow. Having said that, let's come to today's presentation, which is visa documentation preparation part 3. The first part was about potential immigrant, how the visa officer looks at it. So that was the first part. The second was on finance, how finance is an important part of the visa application process. And the documentation is the combination of both. So your documentation should prove whether you are a genuine student, and your documentation should prove that whether you have sufficient finance to cover up your education expenses. So let's go, and this is a general checklist I have created because each country's checklist could be different, but this is a general checklist that I've created to start with, so that irrespective of whether you are applying to US or any other country, UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, or European countries, or any other countries, probably this checklist should give you some idea to understand whether you have all the documents in place or not. Okay. First is you need to have an offer letter or acceptance letter or I-20 in case of US. Okay, you need to have your academics of mark sheet of last education completed and all major levels. So if you have done bachelor's, you have to carry bachelor's all years of mark sheets. If you have done master's, you have to carry bachelor's mark sheet as well as your master's mark sheet on levels. You need to take English test. There are a lot of advertisements that basically happen that, study abroad without IELTS, study abroad without TOEFL, study without basically, without English proficiency test. Now, it is good basically to look at that, and basically a lot of students get trapped to basically this particular advertisement. What happens later is basically they are not able to apply to reasonably good universities. And second, since basically they don't have this TOEFL IELTS score, the visa officer may reject as a potential immigrant. This is majorly if you are going to go to countries like US, Canada, UK, Australia, or basically some major European countries, you will have these issues because visa English proficiency is an important part. All these countries understand that you just want to enter inside the country, because if you are not able to speak English, then what is your purpose? Your purpose is probably to work illegally or do some other activity, and that's why they reject you as a potential immigrant. If they find you as a genuine student, I don't think you should have any problem in taking the English test. It's not when you apply, when you're spending so much on your study abroad, English proficiency test cost is very nominal. So don't fall for the trap. I would not suggest you basically not taking IELTS, not TOEFL, not taking PT. I would strongly recommend each of you to take your IELTS, take your TOEFL, and improve not only your admission chance but improve your visa chance. Also, a scholarship letter in case you have got scholarship from the university or from any third party. There are a lot of third party institutes that offer scholarships. You can apply for that. Your tuition deposit. Now, some of the countries want one-term tuition fees. Canada wants 1 year tuition fees. It's part of the visa process. And for example, in US, you don't have to pay tuition fees, most of the universities. So in case there is a condition, you will have to fulfill those conditions. Then the proof of funding for the entire period of your study. So normally your first year of funds should be in liquid funds. Okay, I had mentioned in my previous financial thing, what are liquid funds? Funds that are readily available, okay, which could be in your bank statement or education bank loan. So liquid funds should be there at least for the first year of study. The visa officer wants that if you are going for study abroad, you should make the provision. You cannot go and say that I have property which is 2 crores, which is sufficient to take care of my education expenses. Visa officer will not grant you visa. Visa officer will say that show me the liquid funds, and property is not considered as fund. If you want to show property as funds, the visa officer will sell the property, put the money in the bank account, show me the sale deed. I'll consider the money as your funds for your education. So anything basically funds that are readily available are considered as liquid funds. Semi-liquid funds are basically your shares, bonds, debenture, mutual funds, your LIC surrender value. Those are semi-liquid funds. You can show these funds for the remaining years of study. You can also show education bank loan sanction letter if you are applying for loan. Bank normally gives 80% of the loan, and some of the banks are aggressive. The NBFCs, they give more, which can cover a major part. So you can show that education bank loan. In some of the countries, there are approved bank lists. So you have to take loan from those approved banks. You cannot take bank loan from any others because they will not accept it. So check those approved bank list as well. Now, bank statement, basically, in case basically you are going to be a self-sponsor, then you show your bank statement. In case you are going to show your parent as your sponsor, you can show basically bank statement of your parent. And it should be basically minimum 6 months to basically it can go up to 2 years. It depends from different visa rules, but 6 months to 1 year is normal. Some rare countries basically ask for 2 years. Sponsor letter, sponsor document. Now, if your basically sponsor is your parent or basically your brother, then you will have to get a sponsor letter from your father or from your brother that he is supporting your education for your studies abroad. And all the sponsor documents includes his bank statements, his IT returns to prove that he is in a position to sponsor you. Valid passport. Now, valid passport, I mentioned valid passport, all passports are valid. Now, what is this? Why I'm specifically mentioning valid? The valid passport here means in Canada, for example, if your program is of 4 years, your passport should be valid for 4 or 5 years, because you are also going to stay back post-study work. If you are going to 4 years, 3 years of post-study work will be eligible for you. Or if you are going for a 2 years program, your passport should be valid for another basically like 3 or maximum 5 years. It should be valid for 5 years, so that you don't have any problem. And it is mentioned that your passport should at least be valid for the duration of the program, and it should cover your post-study work, so that once you go there afterwards, you can basically later on renew your passport. But before you go, as a visa condition, it is mentioned that you should at least cover the study period. That should be a valid passport. In US, it is just 6 months. So even if I'm going for a 5 years program, PhD program, my passport should be valid for 6 months. After that, once I go there, basically from that 6 months is should be valid, after which I can renew. So valid passport may vary from country to country. Some country for 6 months, some may say basically for the entire period of study. And where basically you have to take visa appointments, you will have to book early, book a visa appointment. There could be a biometric appointment. Some of the visa applications can be uploaded online, but biometric, you may have to take an appointment. And so that type of options are available. So accordingly, basically see what type of options are. In some countries, you will have to go to the embassy or the consulate and submit the document, and there will be an interview as well. So those things you have to look for each country. And other requirements. Other requirements are, there are some countries like, for example, Canada, you have the GIC requirement, which is where you have to put 10,000 Canadian dollars in a GIC account for your accommodation. Now, once you go to Canada, your university or college will help you to open a bank account, and then this money would be transferred to that account, and you can monthly withdraw around basically from that particular account. There is a limit of 700 roughly around. So you can withdraw from that account. So that type of basically facility is available. In Germany, you have blocked account, which is similar to that, where you have to put 10,000 euros, and then you can go there and then you can monthly withdraw. So that facility is other requirement. Other requirement could be basically CAQ in Canada, which is required for Quebec, or basically there could be some additional documents that may be required for a particular country that you will have to fulfill. So all those things, like for example, medical. If you want to go for medical, there are certain countries where medical is required. Canada requires, UK requires, so USA doesn't require. So those are other requirements. How to get US visa? I'm going to cover few countries, as I've already covered in my presentation, few countries. So I'm going with that flow. So in US, you have to have I-20. Your I-20 is your acceptance letter. Now, I-20 is important part. Once you get your I-20, then you can have to pay your service fee. Service fee is $350. You can go to fmjfe.com to pay the service fees. Then you have to fill the DS-160. It's a non-immigration visa application form. You're going for study purpose, so it's a non-immigration visa application form which you will have to fill. This is very important form. You have to fill it very, we have to put correct information, because any wrong information in this can affect your visa chance. Once you do that, then you have to fill you have to go to the CGIF federal.secure.force.com, where you can book your visa appointment dates. Before visa appointment date, you will have to pay the visa fees, and then you will be allowed to basically, a barcode is generated, and then you, within a day, 24 hours, barcode gets activated, and then you can book the visa appointment date for the biometric as well as for the visa appointment in person for your visa interview. So you have to pay the visa fees, which is $160 equivalent rupees. You schedule a visa appointment and biometric appointment. Now, interview is in English. So many who are not good in English, this is important that you have to understand that the interview would be in English. So you will have to prepare for this. If you are not going to prepare, don't think things are easy. Don't cry later on. Please, work before you basically start everything. Understand the process, because it is no use crying afterwards and saying that, I was rejected. The interview is in English, so you need to prepare and answer yourself in English. No other language will be accepted, because you are going to study in that country in English. So because English, why I'm stressing this is because in some places, some interior places, people don't speak good English. And when you don't speak good English, visa officer is not convinced and your visa is rejected. And that's why basically these advertisement of no IELTS, no TOEFL, no, these things work. But if you have to understand from the visa point of view, then you will have to answer them in English. Now, what I have divided is I have given the main questions, what you should prepare. There are many basically other questions will come under this main question. But if you get this main questions, then getting the other questions should not be difficult. One is who you are. Understand that. Okay, know yourself. Okay, because there will be questions about you. So you should know yourself. What what are you doing, how why you want to go, what are your strengths, everything that you think, basically your thing, basically you should know about yourself. Your academic journey, what have you done and what you want to do. Okay. The next is your plan to study in US. Why you want to go to US? Okay. Why specific program? Why specific university? Your ties to your home country. Why do you think you'll come back to India? Okay. Or what about your father? What does your father do? What does your mother do? All those ties to your home country. Those questions related to them. Your father's income, your mother's income, your investments, finance. So finance is basically the liquid assets for your first year of study. How much money do you have in your bank? Remaining. Okay. So you may ask you, your money is not sufficient. So what are you basically remaining semi-liquid assets? Where are they? Education bank loan. Education bank loan is a liquid asset. So you can add them in the liquid assets. Okay. What do you want to do after studies? So what are your career plans? So you should have an idea about what you plan to do. Why do you think you'll come back again here? Carry all documents in original as proof when you're going for your US visa. So you have to carry all the documents in original. Visa officer is not going to keep any of the documents. He is going to give it back to you. Okay, but he has to verify. Why? Because there are some fake documents sometimes, and basically you would like to see the original. So carry all the original when you're going for your visa. Now, how to get to Canada visa? You need to have an acceptance letter. You need to have a valid passport. I told you valid passport in Canada is to cover the entire duration of the program plus post-study work. You need to have a GIC, which is Canadian dollar 10,000. You have to block this money in this particular account, where you can open the account in CIBC or Nova Scotia Bank. Medical test is required from panel list. So you will have to call, take an appointment, and you will have to get the medical panel. You have to schedule biometric appointment. You have to apply online. You can go to GCK login, and then you can make a request to have a new application, and you can fill this form. Once you, I'm going to explain there are two types of basically visa process in Canada. One is called SDS, Student Direct Scheme, and one is non-SDS. SDS is the fastest process, simplest process, and has a better visa success rate. So if you want to get a better visa success, apply to SDS, not as a non-SDS. A non-SDS is a lengthy process. It can, basically the chances of visa refusals are more in non-SDS. So choose your path accordingly. Apply to SDS. So I'm going to explain SDS here, because my objective is basically that everyone should get visa. SDS, you need to have few conditions. One, you need to get IELTS 6 band in each of the module: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. You need to get an acceptance letter from DLI, Designated Learning Institute, which is approved by the Canadian government. So DLI number would be there in your acceptance letter. So that's very important. And third, you need to pay 1 year of tuition fees in advance. Okay. And fourth, you need to have GIC, 10,000 Canadian dollars that you're going to pay. GIC anyway is required basically for non-SDS as well. So GIC is fourth, which I want to add. So 4 things that I would add here is: 1, you need to have an IELTS 6 band in each module. You need to basically get an acceptance letter from a DLI institute. Third, you need to pay 1 year of tuition fees, and you need to have 10,000 Canadian dollars that you need to deposit in GIC. So in GIC, once you're applying to SDS, you have to fill the visa application form. I have given the form, which is IMM 1294E, acceptance letter from a designated learning institute, IELTS test score, payment proof of 1 year tuition fees, GIC confirmation that you have paid 10,000 Canadian dollars, your medical confirmation, academic proof. If work is mandatory in the acceptance letter, then you will have to provide an evidence for the same, your visa SOP. You will have to have another application form, IMM 5645E, which is a family information, digital photograph. All these things have to be uploaded online. All these things have to be uploaded online. You pay the visa fees, your biometric fees. You will get on your email within 24 hours a biometric information letter. When you get this letter, you take the letter. You all have to call. You have to basically, take a biometric appointment also. You have a link to go for the biometric appointment. Take that biometric appointment, basically email plus the biometric information letter with your passport and get your biometrics. Once that is done, your visa is complete, and then you can check your visa status online in the same GIC login that you have created. Now, how to get UK visa? Now, UK visa, you have to basically, in UK, they may tell you to pay one-term tuition deposit. So you will have to pay one-term tuition deposit. Once you do that, there is something called confirmation of acceptance of study, CAS. They will basically, there could be some university which will have a CAS interview. So they will ask you why you want to come and why, because in UK, it's the university that is, the onus is on the university. So they will have to take care that the student is genuine. So they have this CAS interview, and then after that, basically, they offer the CAS. There are a lot of universities that are blacklisted earlier once upon a time. So that's why they have improved this system. You have to have a valid passport. In case you are applying for any research-based program, which is basically, which the country feels is a threat to them, then an attached certificate is required. IELTS test score, your medical is required, bank statement of minimum 28 days. So you have to keep, suppose the total cost of education, tuition, accommodation, living, all inclusive is 30 lakhs. You will have to keep that 30 lakhs for 28 days. You cannot remove that money. So from December 1st to December 28th, this money should be there. And on January 1st, you can apply for your visa. Now in that, basically, there is a cost, basically living cost inside London, living cost outside London. I've explained this in my earlier on the presentation a couple of days ago, so you can check that. Education bank loan sanction letter or fixed deposit, sponsor letter, and a visa fees of 348. How to get Europe visa? You fill the visa application form. There are two types of visa application form. One is less than 180 days. One is more than 180 days. Similarly, UK also has that particular process. In Europe also you have it. So it's less than 180 days and more than 180 days. So you have to apply for more than 180 days if your program is more than 6 months. Ideally, most of the program, bachelor's, master's, 1 year or more. So you apply for that. If you're applying for a certificate course or small course, then your duration of the program will be less. Then you will be going for a short-term visa. More than 180 days is a long-term visa. You may have to take a consular appointment because Europe is basically different countries. So some have to, basically, you have to go to the embassy and submit the documents. You may also have a face-to-face interview. For example, in Germany, you will have to submit the documents. There is a face-to-face interview. In Spain, you are going to basically submit, but there is no interview as such. Proof of funding for your entire stay. So you will have to show the proof of funding. You have also liquid funds, semi-liquid funds. You have to show the funds or education bank loan, proof of acceptance letter, in proof of accommodation letter or block letter. Now, blocked account is required for Germany. Spain requires you to book the accommodation and then you can apply for your visa. So without that, you cannot apply for your visa. Or if you apply for your visa, it will lead to a refusal. Your IELTS test scores, valid passport, health certificate. Health certificate is required by some European countries. One of them is Spain. PCC is required by Spain and some European countries. You have to get that apostille. For example, in Spain, it is required to be apostille. Health insurance is required. Sponsor letter is required. Sponsor document, passport is required. If your father is sponsoring, then your father's sponsor letter and your father's passport is required. And the visa fees for different countries can range from USD 100 to USD 400. The last is how to improve visa chance. Now, this is important because you can improve your visa chance by applying to reasonably good universities. You should know which universities you are applying for, accreditations and everything. You should be aware about it because they'll ask you questions in case you have interview. Take all necessary tests like TOEFL, IELTS, SAT1, GRE, GMAT, so that they know that you are a genuine student, whatever is required. Show necessary funds as per visa requirement. You can show more than the required funds. Apply to related program based on your previous study. So if I have done my bachelor's in electronics engineering, then probably I will go for a related field. If I'm going to done your bachelor's in architecture, I will probably go for a related field. The more related field, the better basically you will be able to explain why you want to go abroad based on your past academic qualification. Okay, in case you don't have your academic qualification doesn't match, but you have work experience, you can still basically be able to justify why you want to go for that particular program. Show strong ties in your home country, your property, your investments, your parents, all your family business, all are strong ties. Research on university program, scope of program, so that you, in case there are interview, they ask you, then you know basically about all these things. Correspond with university officials so you can carry this proof that you are a genuine student, that you have done good correspondence. Your visa SOP, in case there are no interview, then your visa SOP will talk on behalf of you. Mock visa interview preparation is important because you should know what the visa officer is expecting and how to answer these questions. That's it from me. Thank you very much for staying and for being there.